See, they just spread some more statistics on COVID.
They spreading it like a virus, huh?
They just shared some new stats. I said spread it.
Spread it. All right, yeah, the CDC, they came
That's
out
a
with some,
synonym for shared.
yeah, the CDC came out with some new stats regarding COVID, and Joe Biden has been spotted outside his basement. He is on the campaign trail up in Pittsburgh, and he gave a powerful speech.
He ain't giving no damn powerful speech,
He
man.
gave a powerful, ridiculous speech. Check it out.
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it, since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
Hey, can somebody please take this man's teleprompter and move it a little bit closer? Look like he's taking a damn eye exam. Yeah, move it to about maybe 3 feet away, man.
Yeah.
And whoever wrote his damn script on his teleprompter, it looked like he's reading a fill-in-the-blank questionnaire or something. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, look like
Maybe put the speech in bold capital letters.
Yeah, I would think so.
He'll still mess it up.
No, man, his handler is not handling them. This dude's running for president of the United States. Y'all need to take care of this man. But anyway.
Yeah, because he can't take care of himself.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah, he can't.
Don't say that.
Walk around people's carrying him? That man should be retired, man.
Yeah, but anyway.
You see that woman carrying him like you? Dragging him?
Get the hell off me.
I said that's not a good look for somebody trying to become president.
Yeah,
you got a 19-year-old female, 5'3", 90 pounds, dragging you. It's not a good look, Joe.
Well, it's not a good look for a person running for president. Looks horrible. All right. Joe Biden's speech. I just showed y'all a brief clip.
Yeah.
That
whole speech was just pointing the finger at everybody else.
Yeah, he blames the president for the deaths when it comes to COVID.
Yeah.
Right, and said he's incompetent and he handled it wrong, right? But he makes no mention of what he would have did differently.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, if I'm running for president, Joe, and my predecessor did something wrong, I would point out what he did wrong and how I would have approached it different, making a better outcome. Nothing.
Yeah, you didn't even point out the things he did wrong. And 2, you never shared any ideas you would have done.
Yeah, in fact, when the president shut down travel from China, you called him a racist. Now, I think it's common sense. If there's a pandemic starting in this country, China, Wuhan, the first thing that would come to my mind,
hey, it's in China, right? Ban all travel from China. They got it. It can't get over here if they don't come here.
I mean, it's not going to swim here, right? It's logical to think that. It's like when the virus hit here, you made us stay in the house.
Yeah.
Right? You locked everybody down to keep the spread from
spreading. You called the man xenophobic from that.
Yeah.
What would have done different there, Joe? You failed to mention that in that long, stupid speech of yours.
Yeah, you wouldn't have did anything different because President Trump did everything in his power to keep that spread down.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Blaming Trump, I don't mean to cut you off, but blaming Trump for the deaths from COVID is like blaming the vice president for herpes. Shit don't make no sense. Hey, 50,000 more people got herpes this year. You know why? Mike Pence's fault. Should have told people.
Or blaming Trump for it. It doesn't make any sense. Trump did everything in his power. In fact, the CDC came out with some more statistics regarding COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, over 160,000 people have died from COVID.
Yeah.
Of that 160,000.
Yeah.
Now, this is from the CDC. I ain't making this up.
Yeah, this is not from any right-wing news media. This is from the CDC.
Yeah. What does CDC stand for? The Center
of Disease Control, man.
Yeah. They're on top of this. This is from them.
Yeah.
Out of those 160,000 deaths, what was it, 6%?
Only 6% of those deaths is directly
related to COVID. COVID was the sole reason why they died. Out of those 160,000 deaths, 6%. That comes out to what, 9,500 deaths?
Yeah, a little over 9,500.
Right. Also, they added in there 130,000 of those 160,000 deaths.
Yeah. Been over the age of 60 and had pre-existing health conditions.
Yeah, over the age of 60.
Yeah.
This is why they locked everybody in the house. Yeah. This is why they let prisoners out of jail.
Yeah, prisoners out of jail because of this. But if we were so safe in our homes, why wasn't these prisoners safe inside of their cell blocks?
Yeah. So the only reason why Joe brings up COVID, he's trying to paint the president as incompetent. Yeah. But we've covered that. He didn't come up with any ideas or share any ideas how he would have handled it.
Or he didn't even point out anything the president did wrong.
Yeah, I mean it's a novel virus. I mean, how do you prepare for a virus that you've never faced?
Yeah.
I mean, it's affected U.S. It's affected the entire globe.
Yeah. You blamed everybody but China.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody.
Yeah. I call it the Chinese virus. So does the president. You know why? Because it comes from China. Even has made from China on the virus.
And y'all called him being a racist when he called it the Chinese virus. Do you call it racist when I go to the Chinese restaurant and get me some Chinese food? Made you think, didn't I?
Do y'all call Ebola racist? Because they call it Ebola? That's the river in Africa.
Yeah, where it came from.
Yeah, Ebola. Is that racist?
Yeah, if they'd have came out and said the black man virus, yeah, that's racist. The black man virus.
Well, what if it originated from You don't want to catch that black man virus.
That black man virus make you bleed from the eyes.
Oh, you talking about the Ebola?
Yeah, if they'd have called it that, that's racist.
Yeah, that's racist. That's a good point. The black man.
Hey, I'm sorry we laughing. We got a sick sense of humor.
Hey, but
I'm just making a point.
No, that would be racist.
That would be racist. But calling it the Chinese virus because it comes from China, I wouldn't call it racist. You just call it that because it's from China.
Yeah, Spanish flu? Why? Spanish people got it. They spread it. All right, but anyway, Joe Biden has no ideas that's going to move this country forward. He claims that the president is caused all this division and hate in this country. When all this hate in this country, all these deaths, these riots, these protests, all of it's coming from the left. This has all been manufactured by the left.
Yeah.
Everything. That's why Trump is going to get reelected, and that's why I'm voting for Trump.
Trump 2020.
The Centers for Disease Control released an update to their report on COVID-19 deaths. Their data shows that 94% of people who died from COVID-19 in the U.S. had contributing health conditions, while only 6% had COVID-19 listed as the only cause of death on their death certificate. Dr. Amesh Adalja, a senior scholar at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security and an infectious disease, critical care, and emergency medicine physician, says this information re-emphasizes what we already know about who the virus fatally impacts.
What it means is that people who die from COVID, who get hospitalized with COVID, often have other conditions like diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease that contribute to the severity of COVID. This is nothing new. We've known from the beginning that those people who are high risk for severe disease often have other medical conditions. And it shows you that if you have no other medical conditions, it's less likely that you will die from COVID.
Dr. Adalja explains how someone unfamiliar with death certificates may misunderstand the CDC data.
For those who've never filled out a death certificate, it's important to know there usually are 3 lines there, and you put 3 things down. So you might write, this person died of pneumonia and respiratory failure and COVID-19. So now that person, even though that's all COVID-19 related stuff, it looks like to someone who doesn't understand how a death certificate is filled out, that this person had other contributing causes to death.
Both the CDC and Johns Hopkins have confirmed that people with underlying medical conditions are at increased risk of severe illness from COVID-19. But does the new data from the CDC indicate that mortality rate of COVID-19 isn't as bad as we thought? The doctor says no.
If you look at the excess mortalities, there clearly is a huge effect from COVID-19, irrespective of whether or not a person has another medical condition. This is a deadly infectious disease.
Excess mortality is the difference between the observed number of deaths in a specific time period and the expected number of deaths in the same time period. And he says that medical researchers can look at that baseline and see, is this year worse than last year?
And that's what we're seeing with this pandemic.
And if we didn't classify deaths in this way, what would that mean for the reporting?
So it's really important that we get accurate data on who is dying and how they're dying, because that helps us to fine-tune our response to those populations that are most vulnerable to severe disease from COVID.
Not everyone needs to be tested. That's a quote. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention does a 180 on its guidance for COVID testing and quarantines, even if a person comes in close contact with someone who has it.
CBS 2's Jessica Moore looks at the new recommendations and also has some reaction.
The agency's previous position said testing was important for anyone who may have been exposed, even if they're asymptomatic. The CDC did not explain the change, which some doctors call confusing and frustrating.
Public health experts and epidemiologists, everyone agrees that we need more testing, not less. We have to catch every case in order to contain outbreaks. And the second thing that concerns me is the way that it was rolled out, which is that it was basically the website just changed overnight with no announcement, no explanation, there's no backup. This is very unusual for the CDC, which has always been based in science and data.
The agency also did an about-face on the issue of quarantining. Previous CDC guidance prompted states like New York to implement a mandatory 14-day quarantine for anyone who traveled to a COVID hotspot. On Friday, the agency quietly dropped the quarantine recommendation.
The only explanation that makes any sense to me is that it is a very politically motivated change. I mean, we've heard the president say again and again that more testing is just making him look bad.
I asked Governor Cuomo how New York State, which still requires travelers from 31 states to quarantine for 2 weeks, would respond to the CDC's changes.
Will these new quarantine guidelines change your position on the quarantine rules for New Yorkers?
We're not going to follow the CDC guidance. I consider it political propaganda. I would caution private companies against following the CDC guidance.
The CDC still warns that risk of infection is high and recommends everyone continue to practice social distancing, wear masks, and wash hands often. The CDC would not comment on its policy change, directing CBS News to the Department of Health and Human Services, which told us, quote, the intent of the updated guidance is to ensure testing is used appropriately and individuals are protecting themselves and others. In Manhattan, Jessica Moore, CBS 2 News.